All right, let's dive into one of the biggest lessons in building wealth. And it all starts with a story about, well, one of the richest guys in the world back when he was just a kid. Don't worry, we're not talking about complicated charts or anything like that. This is all about one simple idea that, honestly, made him a billionaire.
Okay, quick question for you. What were you dreaming about when you were, say, 6 years old? Seriously, think about it. An astronaut, right? A firefighter? Or maybe just getting that awesome new toy you saw. For most of us, that was our world. But the kid we're talking about today, yeah, he was wired a little differently.
So while we were all dreaming about action figures and cartoons, a young Warren Buffett, he was literally dreaming about money and business. I mean, from day one, that was his thing. He was completely fascinated by how money worked. And this wasn't just some passing phase, it was his passion.
So his story kicks off in Omaha, Nebraska. And really, it boils down to two huge moments early on. His very first business at just 6 years old, and then his first stock purchase when he was 11. Let's start at the very beginning.
It is so hard to wrap your head around this. His whole journey into the world of business, it didn't start in some fancy boardroom. Nope, it started right on his front porch.
Just look at that. 6. I mean, seriously, let that sink in. At an age when most of us were still figuring out how to tie our shoes, Warren Buffett was already an entrepreneur.
And his first business, it was just genius in how simple it was. He'd go out, buy 6 packs of Coca-Cola, and then turn around and sell each bottle individually for a profit. Think about that. He found a product people wanted, he bought it low, and he sold it high. That's the most fundamental rule of business, and he had it down pat at 6 years old.
But you know, just selling stuff wasn't going to be enough for him. He pretty quickly graduated from things you can hold, like soda bottles, to something way more abstract, the stock market. And this is where the story gets really good.
And here we go again. The next number that just stops you in your tracks, 11. While most of us were just trying to survive middle school, Buffett was trying to navigate Wall Street. The jump from selling Coke to buying a piece of a public company, it's just mind-blowing. So at 11 years old, he takes the money he's been working so hard for, and he makes his very first investment in the stock market. This is a huge deal. He's officially an investor now. And, on the surface, everything seemed to go perfectly. But this is where things get really, really interesting. Because even though his first investment was technically a success, it was also the moment he made what he later called a critical error. A mistake that would end up teaching him the single most important lesson of his life.
So right out of the gate, his stock pick was a winner. The price went up, he sold his shares, and he made a nice little profit. For any other kid, this would be amazing. Time to celebrate, right? A total victory.
Which brings us to the big question. If he made money, then how on earth could it have been a mistake? What did he do wrong? This right here is the whole point of the story.
The mistake wasn't what he bought. It was when he sold. He got antsy, or maybe he was just excited to lock in that small win, so he sold his shares almost right away.
And this is where you see the true cost of being impatient. Because very soon after he sold, that same stock absolutely skyrocketed. The little profit he was so happy about? It was nothing, absolutely nothing, compared to the massive gains he could have made if he had just waited. He didn't lose money, no, but he lost a gigantic opportunity.
So that experience as a kid, watching that stock just climb higher and higher without him, it became the absolute foundation of his entire investing philosophy. It was a painful lesson for sure, but it was also probably the most valuable one he ever learned. And so that lesson became his mantra for his entire life. Don't rush. Patience is what makes money grow. Real wealth isn't built on making a bunch of quick, frantic trades. It's built by finding something good, and then having the discipline to give it the time it needs to really take off. When it comes to investing, patience isn't just a good idea, it's everything. So I'll just leave you with this thought. Think about it in your own life, with money, your career, maybe learning a new skill. We all have that urge to rush things, right? But what could you really achieve if you just applied this one principle of patience? What kind of amazing growth might you be missing out on just because you're selling too early?